Whoever you are, I'm not letting you rule what's left of our future.
Alright, welcome to my Hero All's Justice video. I've been planning to make a video talking about this game, and I decided to do it now because I have more thoughts in my head. I originally said I was going to do like a roster prediction kind of video for this game, but then I decided against making a roster prediction video because at the time, like, other people already made videos like that, and I think it's very easy to predict what it's going to be like. Like, nothing's been confirmed on the full roster number, everything confirmed for the game. I think it'll be more fun to speculate on DLC, but that's a different video I'll do eventually. The only character I really care about, like, honestly, is just, like, Lady Nagan. As long as she's in base roster, I'm okay. So I might make a, like, DLC speculation video, but I'm not going to predict the roster for a video. Even though I said I was going to, I decided against it, because it would just be redundant, because I would just say, okay, they're just going to add the characters from Ultra Rumble, just add Nagan, some more Class B characters, Best Genius, the characters who helped out in the war arc, and so on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it's just gonna be redundant to make that kind of video, because, like, everyone already knows the prediction, you know? So I'm not gonna make a roster prediction for the game. So this video is just talking about everything else, from story mode to the game modes, because I don't think many people have touched on, like, speculation for, like, game modes or anything yet. And I recently just streamed yesterday One's Justice 2, and I love that game so much, and no one else, like, plays it online, so I couldn't find, like, online opponents or anything, so that kind of sucked that I couldn't find anyone to play online. This was from the stream yesterday. Yeah, like, you can't find unranked or ranked. No one is playing the game, sadly, so I couldn't get any online footage. But I did relive some of the game modes, some of the options of the game. So the point of this video, as I said, is we're going to talk about ranging from all the game modes, what can be improved, some things they can add, not just talking about the roster. I think most people care about, like, the roster. Me too. I care about the roster as well. But as I said at the start of the video, as long as Lady Nagan is in the game, I really don't care about anything else. Like, I'm being completely honest about that. Like, Bakugo's in there, 100%. Nagan, I'm good. Mirko is also, like, there's no way Mirko's not going to be in the game. Mirko isn't even a speculation at this point. She's going to be in the game because it's covering the war arc, and Mirko's obviously a big part of both the wars, so naturally, it's not even speculation. She's just simply going to be in there as if Deku was in there, you know what I mean? So the point of this video, again, is talking about the game modes, not really focusing too much on roster, because again, I would just be redundant to make a video like that. So All's Justice is basically One's Justice 3, but instead of, well, we don't know if there's going to be assists or not. We do know it's going to be 3v3, which is a little bit different from One's Justice 2. And it has a lot of questions raised because there's no longer rounds. Instead of rounds, it's you just delete all three of your opponent's health bars. Just like Dragon Ball FighterZ, and then when you're on your last character, you start out in Rising State, which is a new feature to the game. I'm not going to go too deep into the gameplay mechanics because they just revealed a trailer for the battle system. Yeah, right down here. The battle system trailer. They go over everything you need to do here. And like a popular YouTuber, Globku, already made on his side channel and main channel videos talking about covering this stuff in great detail, so I'd recommend, if you want to know more about the battle system, go check out those videos. but that's not going to be the focus of my video here. So I covered the roster. As long as Nugon's there, I'm fine. Story mode is something we should talk about first, because of course that's the biggest, not the biggest game mode, but in any anime game there is going to be some kind of story mode, right? So story mode ended on Overhaul, and this game came out many years ago. A lot has happened in the anime since then. Season 4 through Season 7. Wall's Justice is confirmed covering War Arc, which is Season 7 and 8. It's debatable if 8 is gonna be like part of it, and then DLC will cover the rest of it. We don't know. And that doesn't also confirm Season 6, because Season 6 is also technically War Arc, but like, you know, the first war. But it did say specifically Final War, so I believe story mode is going to start at like probably when Deku comes back to UA after the Vigilante stuff. So I think like the last couple episodes of Season 6 will be where this game starts. Maybe. That's speculation. Story mode is going to skip a lot, but we're going to talk about how they can do that correctly while still covering everything. And I will explain it once we get to another bullet point in this video. So if the game goes from the end of Overhaul to starting the War Arc, that's a lot of room, right? That's a lot of story we're missing. But there is a way they can do it, just like Unikamen Chronicles 2 did, but we'll get into that later. It's also the final DLC for the game. Not the final DLC, but the DLC for the game that covers like the highest in the story. Gentle Criminal. Hawks is the first DLC. Ayama was the final DLC. Gentle Criminal was Season Pass 1, and he is the farthest in the story. Debatable. I mean, Hawks. I mean, I'm trying to remember here. Actually, no, I'm incorrect. Actually. Hawks was revealed after Gentle Criminal in the anime, right? I'm pretty sure. So, let's just say Season 5, like the beginning of Season 5, is where, not story mode, but where characters end for One's Justice 2. So, we need a cover from Gentle Criminal arc all the way to Vigilante Deku in this game, and then do the War Arc. That is a lot of content, but let's look at like Bleach Rebirth of Souls, Demon Slayer Unikamen Chronicles 2. Those games cover a lot of story. But are we expecting that from All's Justice? The answer is probably like, maybe not, because, I mean, let's take a look back here. Again, nothing's confirmed. So, One's Justice 2 story mode had some animations and stuff, but it wasn't like this pretty, you know? The game is going to have some animated cutscenes for story mode, which is very insane. Because we didn't get much of that in the first two games. I mean, there was like, you know, a little bit, but like nothing like this. Again, it's a modern game where we don't know the release date. It's probably 2026. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2027, and I would actually prefer it if the game was 2027, so they have more time on it. And now, I will get to this later. My biggest problem with the game so far, from what we've seen, is a lot of games are doing this recently, and I don't know why. No Hunter x Hunter and that Impact is the one that opened my eyes to this recently, is they're doing games now. Let me even show you while I'm talking about it. Let me just show you what I'm talking about while I'm talking about it. Let's go to the Battle System trailer. There is something in here that is alarming to me. This is the only thing I don't like about the game so far. Let me try to find it. It's right here. When Mirio is doing this combo. Hold on. You see Shigaraki's health? Look at his health. I don't know why games are doing this recently, but everything does 1,000,000 damage, and you have 0 HP. Like, I get these are 3 ultimates, like 3 super attacks. Like, I get that, right? I get it's plus ultra attack. I get it. But why are games coming out where everything does 1,000,000 damage and you have no HP? Why are we making games that last 2 seconds? Hunter x Hunter and then Impact opened my eyes to this recently because I played that game, obviously I streamed it twice, and every match ends in 5 seconds because everything does 1,000,000 damage and you have 0 HP at all times. Like, what are we doing here? You know, like an auto combo and then Impact does over half an health bar. Like, what are we doing here? You get hit twice and you lose the game. Like, I don't get why games are doing this. That's the biggest problem I have with anime games recently and this game here. Why is everything doing so much damage? Why does he have no health? Why, they want to make these games fast? Like, why are we having fast games? Why can't we enjoy the game and fight each other on these games and not die in 2 hits? Like, I don't get it. That's my biggest complaint about Net Impact, my biggest complaint about this game so far. But this is another ranked video, so I'm gonna go away into another bullet point here soon, which is, we talked about story, we talked about the roster, we talked about what I think about the roster, you know, whatever. Story mode, it's gonna probably start, not confirmed, speculation, Vigilante Deku, at the end of the Vigilante Deku stuff, and then it's going to go Season 7, obviously. We don't know how much into Season 8 they're going to do, but probably all of it, because that's what it promotes. But then it's like, what's DLC, right? DLC is probably going to be My Hero Vigilantes. It's probably going to be Deku's final form. It might even be like time skip designs for a costume or new characters for DLC. We don't know. And that's fine, because we'll make a speculation video on this eventually. But I'm going to hold off on that right now, though, because my concern is this video here. So the next thing on my bullet points, remember when I talked about earlier in the video about something interesting, where we ended, 1-2 ended at Overhaul before Gentle Criminal came into the story. So how do they cover Gentle Criminal, Class A versus Class B, Endeavor versus High-End Nomu, My Vigilante, My Villain Academia arc? How do they cover Endeavor's Agency arc? How do they cover the First War? How do they cover the Vigilante Deku arc? This game mode, Demon Slayer 2. If you don't play Demon Slayer 2, this is basically taking bosses from the first game and throwing them as a game mode so the story mode could focus where it left off. So if you look here at the first one, what if it did, instead of reliving what we already did, instead of going through All Might versus All for One and Season 3 and so on, and Deku and Lemillion versus Overhaul, what if in All's Justice they have this game mode here where it covers everything from the game that we're missing up until where the game starts? So for example, the first boss rush thing we do, it could be Deku versus Gentle Criminal. Then the next one after that can be Endeavor versus Hood, High-End Nomu. The one after that, I mean, that could be a mix of like maybe Dobby versus Endeavor and Hawks. You know, they didn't technically fight at that point. Where Dobby came to recollect High-End Nomu. They didn't technically fight. Dobby almost fought them, but Mirko stepped in. And then after that, it's Class A versus Class B. So you can have, even skip most of that arc and just have like Deku versus Shinso. And even Monoma is in the game. Confirmed for All's Justice Monoma. So they can even have Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, I don't know, maybe Deku, Ochako, and Mina, because all of Class A is in the game. We don't know about all Class B yet, but some of them are. So what if for the third option, because again, the first one's Deku versus Gentle, Endeavor versus High-End, then the third one could be like Deku, Ochako, Mina versus Monoma, Shinso, and throw in whatever third. for that cover the arc in one fight, which is silly, but it's how you streamline it, right? And then for Endeavor's Agency, you can honestly skip that. So the next one could be like Shigaraki versus Redestro. If Redestro is in the game, have one fight for the arc, that's fine. Like, people will probably be upset we don't have like Dabi versus Getten. Dabi versus Getten. We don't know if Getten's in the game. If he is cool, if he's not cool. So for my Villain Academia arc, for that, for this thing here, they could just be, Shigaraki versus Redestro. And then it's interesting because how do you cover season 6 in one fight? I think the first one have to be like Mirko versus some Nomu, or they can even skip that and go into Endeavor, Bakugo, Deku versus the white-haired Shigaraki, and skip, like Gran Torino and Aizawa and that. And then the next one could be Deku versus Lady Nagan. And then that's how you tie in. Again, it's cutting a lot of stuff, but it's the only way in my head that can rationalize ending the second game at Overhaul and starting the third game, the new All's Justice, at the Season 7. That's the only way I can rationalize it, is if how do we cover everything in between? It's from Hinokami Chronicles 2. Out of this game mode, which is perfect. Streamline it as much as possible. It could be cutscenes, slideshows to tell you what happens in between. As My Hero fans, we already know what happens, but it would still be cool for the game to cover it, right? So that's my idea for how we can do story mode while covering everything we missed in between, because so many seasons have passed in the anime since the last game, which is One's Justice 2. Next thing on my bullet point is going to be one of the game modes I loved in My Hero One's Justice 2, and that is the mission mode. I covered it on my stream yesterday even, where I did some of the hard mission modes for the game. And as much as this is probably my favorite game mode in One's Justice 2. But it does have problems, and it can definitely be revamped, because also a lot of the cards are like your sidekicks have faster reload, they do higher damage. We don't know if this new game has assists. We do know it has tagging in and tagging out, like fighters, like Jump Force. In fighters and Jump Force, your tag-ins can also do assist attacks. We don't know if that's still in the game or not. Probably not. We don't know. For example, if you throw Todoroki as an assist in the air, he does a fireball, or like a fire beam. If you throw Todoroki on the ground as an assist, he does an ice move. But if you hold down the button, he tags into the character. We don't know. We're assuming there is no assist because there's tagging in now. So if there is no assist, you have to redo a lot of these cards for the game mode. And sidekicks will now just be who you're tagging into. So when I played this yesterday, I relived some of the rage because some of this stuff is actually really hard, and I love that. Me raging on this game mode is exciting because I like difficulty in video games. Why are games coming out where they're super easy? I don't like that. Bleach Rebirth of Souls, like the game is not easy but also not hard. Sparking Zero was not hard now, but at the beginning it was relearning controls and whatnot. But that's for any game when you're don't know the controls, it's pretty hard. Once you understand the Vanish system and Sparking Zero, every CPU is fodder. So what am I getting at here? This game mode, keep it. Let's skim to this point. Gran Torino's doing 1,000,000 damage, and I'm taking, dying in like one combo basically here, and that's pretty exciting and challenging for the highest, because this is like the hell difficulty part of it. This is like one of the final 4 missions in the mission mode, so obviously it has to be difficult. So here's like a side thing that doesn't really affect the gameplay too much. You're not allowed to use your customizations. And when I say customization, I literally mean, let me try to find it. I literally mean like your custom designed characters. Like, I'm not saying add Super Souls from Xenoverse 2 or something. I'm not saying added healing items. I'm not saying add super armor. I mean, there is cards that give you like invincibility and stuff for the game mode itself. But when I say customization, I just mean cosmetic. Let us pick like our Shigaraki with this costume. Let us pick right here, Shigaraki. Let us pick our costume. Like if we look on the main menu here, I have Vigilante Deku, like as the costume, not a character, but it's like a costume. Let us use our costumes in the mission mode. Why can't we do that? Why is it only default costumes and we can't have our accessories? Because you can accessorize your character like pretty good. You can do a lot of things with the character. Like I made this for Shigaraki, you know. I have the red cape there. For Bakugo, you can add a bunch of different stuff on it. Let's see, I'm trying to skim through this here. I know I have... You know, also the 3 Musketeer outfits have to be free in the base game, because they were free for this game for, like, downloadable. For Bakugo, Deku, and Todoroki, those are really awesome costumes for those characters. So that's a side point, getting sidetracked. So, mission mode, revamp it, let us use custom stuff. By custom, I just literally mean let use our accessories and costumes that we pick. It doesn't affect how strong you are, it's just cosmetic and it's cool. Why can't we use our cool cosmetics? I don't know. The mission mode was the best game mode in 1 Justice 2, but we couldn't use our custom stuff for some reason. So just revamp it, make it more streamlined, because some of the stuff was pretty laggy in there, to where it took a while to like click the A button sometimes to get to the next page. Streamline the mission mode, keep the difficulty in mission mode. Let us use our customizations. Now, the next one I have in my bullet point is co-op options. So for those who don't know, even I forgot this because I never used it. I never used this feature because I never had a friend to play the game with back in the day. This game has co-op. For online gaming, you can play with a friend. Like, it's actually very cool, you know? Like, you can have 2 people on the same... 4 people in the same field fighting, in like a tag game. 1 Justice 2 had something, a co-op online. Like Xenoverse 2. It was literally Xenoverse 2 2v2s for My Hero. It's, you know, like, it's early Ultra Rumble, haha. But, like, the point I'm getting at is I don't believe you can do it for story mode, for mission mode. Redo co-op in a way to where you can not only do it online, but do it for a mission mode. Maybe not story mode, but create a new game mode like mission mode for you and your friends to co-op together. Imagine this. Imagine there's a Sparking Zero game mode. Because Sparking Zero has what-if game modes, right? I think they're called episode battles. I could be wrong. I think they're called episode battles, right? Where, like, what-if stuff. What if in 1 Justice 2, there is a second version of mission mode where it's exclusively co-op, where there is what-if scenarios. What if Deku and Bakugo fought Dalby and Shigaraki for some reason in the coffin of the sky? What if Dalby was there? What if Ochako and Todoroki was sent to Coffin in the Sky instead of Bakugo and Tamaki or something? Like, what if scenarios for co-op. They can totally do that. I mean, it'd take a lot of work, but it's a big game. It's a big game. Give us more co-op, give us what if stuff. That is what I have for that bullet point. Now, the next one is another game mode I would really appreciate. And the game mode I would appreciate very much would be an endless survival kind of mode. Survival mode is... a lot of games back in the day had this. Here we go. So, endless and survival, it's basically manage your health, and you go through a horde wave of enemies at random. You beat one guy, you gotta save your health, because the next one's coming right back, so the next opponent's coming in. An endless survival mode is so fun, gives you so much gameplay, and it's streamlined. That is the coolest game mode in any game, to me, is endless survival. A game I love, probably my top 5 favorite games of all time. For the 3DS, Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden. Added in its later years, sadly that game is like not really playable nowadays. you know, sadly, I would still play that game to this day. I just can't find anyone online. But the point I'm trying to say is, even other Dragon Ball games, Survival Endless. For those who know, who played Survival Endless game modes in old Dragon Ball games, you already know what I'm talking about. It's just manage your health, maybe you recover like 5% of your HP after every win, or something crazy like that. But you keep managing your health and just go through a horde of enemies, see how far you can go, and compete with your friends like that. Like, haha, I got to stage 30, and you got to stage 50. You know, like, let's have fun like that. More game modes. Improve on the already awesome photo mode is my next bullet point. So, this game had an impressive photo mode. Like, very impressive. What I showed in this stream, believe it or not, so before I streamed this yesterday, the day before that, after work, I just played the game for fun before streaming, so I got really good controls, just so the stream is not me learning the controls the whole 2 hours. I also revisited the photo mode, because it's been like 3 to 4 years since I touched this, and I forgot how good it was. This photo mode is better than, like, I don't know if it's better than, like, Xenoverse 2, because Xenoverse 2 is very different, obviously. But this game's photo mode, at the time, was so good to where I regret not using it for making thumbnails. Like, I made so much 1 Justice 2 content back in the day, and if I knew how good this photo mode was, I would be using it for all of my thumbnails. I'm not even joking. You can do like Xenoverse 2 where you can like freeze during all of your ultimates, your super attacks, have the characters frozen, have 4 characters on the field, which by the way, Xenoverse 2 can only have 2 characters for photo mode at a time. This game allows you 4 at a time. Imagine All's Justice. How many can you have in imagine you can have like 10 people in photo mode at one time. There's nothing really stopping them from doing that. Imagine the cool thumbnails you can do with that option right there. Because I want to remove like the HUD, the health bars when I'm making thumbnails. That's a little tricky sometimes. I wish I knew how good this photo mode was back in the day, because this photo mode is so amazing. And when so on stream, as I said earlier, I did do it to make the thumbnail for the stream, which is what we're watching right now, was me doing that. But off stream, like off footage, off camera, I experimented more with the photo mode, and there's so much more you can do with this photo mode than I showed on the stream. There is so much more you can do with this photo mode that I experimented with on my free time that I didn't unfortunately record, so I can't show it right now. But this game mode is better than I remember, and I regret not using it. So if they just keep it the same way but improve it a little bit, it's perfect. The only complaint I have for this story mode is controls were a little bit like it was a little bit complicated to move around sometimes, because all the buttons, there's like 3 different pages, and it doesn't really help. It should be more streamlined is what I'm saying. Xenoverse 2 has a great like photo mode in terms of you have more, I don't want to say more freedom, but more freedom in let my character move around, let me pose them first, you know, before we have 3,000 different menus to go through. Give us like 1 menu. I don't want 1,000 menus for photo mode, right? That's complicated. As long as you just streamline it, it's already perfect photo mode for this game. All's Justice needs it too. It's awesome for thumbnails. I regret not using this back in the day for thumbnails. Now, the next point on my bullet point here is, okay, so the next thing is ranked. And I might get hated for this, and you know what? That's fine. That's honestly fine. So, I loved, this is probably one of my favorite ranks in anime games, and I might get hated for this. So, people are saying 1+2 rank system is trash because you only gain it and you never lose it. Because even if you win, you get it, obviously. If you lose, you still gain a little bit of rank sometimes. If you're fighting a high-ranked opponent higher than you, you gain, you know, more even if you lose. But no one loses ranked. And I love that. Because games of Xenoverse 2, stuff like that, fighters even, sometimes it's not even your fault when you lose. And that might sound like salty or like cope, but it's reality. Sometimes it's not even your fault that you lose, and you lose rank because it's not even your fault. It's not cope. Okay, I will admit I am a little bit of a casual on like fighters, for example. Like, I suck at fighters. I was pretty good at 1 vs 2. The gameplay we're watching right now is me playing yesterday. I've been not playing for 3 years, so give me a break. This is offline, but like, I was pretty good at this game. And I wasn't the best player. I'm not claiming to be the best player. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I was good. I was not the best. Don't misinterpret that. I'm not saying I'm the best. I was good though. It's not cope to say sometimes it's not your fault. I even talked about it on this stream. Again, this whole thing's uploaded to YouTube on my channel if you want to watch this 2-hour thing of me playing. And I had it end it early because there was a tornado warning in my area. So I wanted to play more yesterday, but there's a tornado warning in my area. So I panicked, and luckily I'm okay. So talk about ranked. Okay, so yeah, it's not even your fault sometimes. So, for example, right? Let's say your opponent has a shitty connection, and you can't hit them, but they can hit you, and you lose ranked because of that. How is that your fault? That you lose rank, and you lose the match, because your opponent has the worst connection you've ever seen, and you can't hit them, but they can hit you. All your combos miss and drop, because it's laggy as hell, it's your opponent's fault, but you lose ranked. That is not satisfying and not fun. It's fun for the person, you know, cheesing, hacking, modding. Like, it sounds like cope and like me just being bad at games, but like that's reality, you know? It's satisfying to gain rank, it's not satisfying to lose it when it's not even your fault. What if you're playing for LOL's the worst character, and your opponent is playing this customized hit from Xenoverse 2, and just spamming the hell out of the most toxic combo in the game? Like, sure, your fault for picking, like, Yamcha. It's your fault for picking Yamcha instead of Hit. But, like, is it really your fault? You know what I mean? Like, and what if it's even a close game, Yamcha versus Hit Online or something? You're at a disadvantage. But if you still hit him to red and he just chases you, it's, okay, you count it as your fault if you want to, but it's like, okay, what about this example? Your opponent is using modded moves or, like, hacking. They're purposely have shit connection. Sometimes it's not even your fault when you lose. And I went into it more detail somewhere in this stream. I don't know where. No, this is different. We're watching one of my old videos from 3 years ago, by the way. When Midnight came out. Yeah, Midnight got me a lot of views. That's why I did a lot of Midnight videos, because she got me views. But also she's very fun to play. As you see here, she's got some awesome combos. I can definitely give her a moveset for Ultra Rumble. I even talked about it in the stream I did yesterday, that like they can definitely do stuff for Special Action, Alpha, Beta, and Gamma for Midnight from this game. Easily take it. They've already done it for every other character. Mostly, anyway. But the point I'm getting at is ranked. It sucks losing rank when it's not even your fault. And I can go into more detail about what I mean about this, but like I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I think most people understand what I'm trying to say. It's not even your fault. It's just so satisfying to play this ranked of 1 vs 2, to only gain it, you never lose it. I think that's satisfying. Like, sure, if you lose a ranked match because you got outplayed, I'm fine with losing ranked because I got skillfully outplayed by a respectable opponent. I do not want to lose ranked to someone with an unrespectable, laggy-ass chaser, right? That is not satisfying. Again, it's my opinion. You can disagree if you want to. It's my opinion. You can have your opinion just the same way I have my opinion. Let's not hate each other over our opinions, okay? That's just my opinion. Okay, I'm just getting that clear, my opinion. The next thing on my bullet point is a tournament mode for offline and online, just like Sparking Zero. So Sparking Zero, let me find it, had a tournament mode. And you can do it offline and online, and you can even customize it to your liking. You can enable certain characters, disable certain characters, ban certain characters. You can adjust the rules. Do you want ring outs? Do you want what stage do you want, the time limit, character restrictions, character selection, customization, HP, after match, flying, my hero doesn't have that, lose if out of bounds, you know. My hero can just be even simpler, just make like, do you want tournament mode to recover HP after matches, yes or no? Like, it could be even more simple than this, because Dragon Ball's got flying, Dragon Ball has more complicated stuff than my hero, I believe. So it could even be more simple than this, what we're seeing right here. It could be even like 2 options, you know? Just pick your stage and pick like if you want HP recovery after your matches. That's pretty much all you need. Maybe like ban certain characters or like OP for the tournaments. For offline and online, that could be a good game mode. To go with a revamped mission mode, revamped photo mode, a new co-op mode, endless mode, and we'll talk about story mode and the boss rush thing. And that's like the end of my bullet points. So I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about here. They also show, like, I want to talk about this too, actually. So, Armored All Might and Prime All for One was shown somewhere in this trailer. I'm gonna try to find it. Yeah, Robot All Might, Armored All Might. People are saying he is going to be DLC. I don't think that's true. Him and Prime All for One are just like pre-order bonuses, because it would not make sense, because they take place at the end of Season 7, and if the game goes to Season 8, like the whole Season 8, right? It would be weird to miss characters, to not play them in story mode, right? When they have a fight together in the middle of the arc. I don't think they're DLC. I think All Might and Prime All for One is going to be either pre-order bonuses the same way. 100% Deku, 100% Infinite Deku, and version 2 Chisaki and Nomu, where they're just early unlocks. Because that's pretty much what they did for 1 Justice 2. 100% Deku and Kai Chisaki's second form of Nomu were early unlocks. Well, I think Nomu we had to pay for, I can't remember. But Nomu was also like pre-order bonus, I think. But I think these are just pre-order bonuses for early unlocks, which means you can still unlock them even if you don't pre-order the game, and even if you don't get the early unlock thing, you can still get them from story mode, which is what I think they're trying to say here. That's not confirmed. I'm not confirming anything. That's just speculation based on the previous game. In the previous game, you had Infinite Deku and Chisaki. Pre-order bonus. Let's just take a look at it. Let's see. Yeah, you had Infinite Deku. You had Nomu, which I believe was also pre-order, and version 2 of Chisaki, if we can find it. I mean, I can't. There he is, Kai Chisaki, right here. So, I believe Armored All Might and Prime AFO is literally just pre-order early unlocks. Early unlocked means you can still get them later in story mode. Just like Dragon Ball FighterZ at Android 21, Blue Goku, Blue Vegeta. I did get this, by the way, but for some reason I don't have Season Pass 1 for this game, which is awkward for me. Not too concerned about it though. I do want to make more 1 Justice 2 content, but the problem is there's no one online on Xbox, and I don't want to spend hours matchmaking to find nothing. So I have to make offline content for the game. So I want to make content before like preparing for All Justice. So I'm thinking about getting the game, because it's on sale right now in Steam for $15. But I don't really want a fresh save file as a thing. But I do want to get it for like mods, but there isn't like crazy mods I'm like excited about. Like there is like one for like Bloody.Bakugo, it's like really cool actually. But it's like, am I really going to pay $15 to play with like Bloody.Bakugo? You know? Just to get the game on PC, just to get like a couple mods, you know? And just do a couple videos when the new game is coming out, like probably 1 or 2 years from now. Just to talk about, like the video, I'm kind of rambling now, I pretty much talk about everything I wanted to, is we touch on some game modes that they're probably going to add, or my wish list. This video is more like my wish list, to be honest, because I definitely want Nagant in the game. She's probably 100%. She's probably going to be base roster because she's important for the story mode, so she has to be. She's popular. She has to be there. If she's not in the base game, I'm gonna be upset. And then, you know, like Dabi, Bakugo with characters I care about, you know, like Toga, Shigaraki, they're obviously in the game. Like, not even to worry about that. So, with that, I really don't know what else to talk about. I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to here. Is, just to refresh it, I guess, the cover from Gentle Criminal all the way to the War Arc, it can just be what Demon Slayer did with the boss rush thing. To like streamline it, skim through it, what we missed in between. But I'm not going to ramble too much more. I'm just going to end the video here. Pretty much talked about what I wanted to. So yeah, take care. I may or may not do a DLC speculation for the game, because I might just wait for the game to be closer to like a release date or something. Maybe when Season 8 comes out. When Season 8 finishes, I might do it then, just so I have more ideas in my head. But I think I have a good idea right now of a DLC speculation I want to do. But just for now, we'll end the video here. Anyway, take care.